we in America have no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline. Gentlemen, was it not just maybe a little bit over a week ago? Asmongold explains to his audience why he agrees with Nick Fuentes on his call to stay home in 2026. People are sick and tired of accepting a managed decline through Republicans. And today, Marco Rubio, we have no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline. How about that?
For 5 centuries, before the end of the Second World War, the West had been expanding. Its missionaries, its pilgrims, its soldiers, its explorers pouring out from its shores to cross oceans, settle new continents, build vast empires extending out across the globe. But in 1945, for the first time since the age of Columbus, it was contracting. Europe was in ruins. Half of it lived behind an iron curtain, and the rest,
remember that,
looked like it would soon follow. The great Western empires had entered into terminal decline, accelerated by godless communist revolutions, and by anti-colonial uprisings that would transform the world and drape the red hammer and sickle across vast swaths of the map in the years to come.
You know what he's sounding a lot like right now? He's sounding a lot like a president. He is. He's sounding a lot like a president. This is big.
Against that backdrop, then, as now, many came to believe that the West's age of dominance had come to an end, and that our future was destined to be a faint and feeble echo of our past. But together, our predecessors recognized that decline was a choice, and it was a choice they refused to make.
Man.
This is what we did together once before. And this is what President Trump and the United States want to do again now, together with you. And this is why we do not want our allies to be weak, because that makes us weaker. We want allies who can defend themselves so that no adversary will ever be tempted to test our collective strength. This is why we do not want our allies to be shackled by guilt and shame. We want allies who are proud of their culture and of their heritage, who understand that we are heirs to the same great and noble civilization, and who together with us are willing and able to defend it. And this is why we do not want allies to rationalize the broken status quo rather than reckon with what is necessary to fix it.
Oh my God.
For we in America have no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline.
Man, bro, like, I'm, the power level of this? Yes, bro, like, look at this. Can you comment on the power level of his tie? Yeah. He cooked the fuck out of him. Dude, this is insane. I love this. Oh my God. Yes, we got, like, bro, inject this into my veins. Like, I want this all the time, man. This is amazing. Yeah, this is good. Marcus Rubius, yes.
We do not seek to separate, but to revitalize an old friendship and renew the greatest civilization in human history. What we want is a reinvigorated alliance that recognizes that what has ailed our societies is not just a set of bad policies, but a malaise of hopelessness and complacency.
Fucking exact. This is so good. Oh my God.
An alliance is what the alliance that we want is one that is not paralyzed into inaction by fear. Fear of climate change, fear of war, fear of technology. Instead, we want an alliance that boldly races into the future. And the only fear we have is the fear of the shame of not leaving our nations prouder, stronger, and wealthier for our children. An alliance ready to defend our people, to safeguard our interests, and to preserve the freedom of action that allows us to shape our own destiny.
Man.
Not one that exists to operate a global welfare state and atone for the purported sins of past generations.
Oh my God. This is the shit that I say every day. This is actually the same shit that I always say. Oh my God. This guy's good? Yeah, this is amazing.
An alliance that does not allow its power to be outsourced, constrained, or subordinated to systems beyond its control. One that does not depend on others for the critical necessities of its national life. And one that does not maintain the polite pretense that our way of life is just one among many, and that asks for permission before it acts.
True.
And above all, an alliance based on the recognition that we, the West, have inherited together. What we have inherited together is something that is unique and distinctive and irreplaceable. Because this, after all, is the very foundation of the transatlantic bond.
Oh my God. Wow. Man, that's really like, it's amazing. I really like Vance. I hope one of them runs, right? I mean, you get either one of them, I'd be happy, right? But they got to go a lot harder. I could see, I'm going to be real. I could see Marco Rubio being way more extreme than JD Vance. I can easily see that. And so I don't know really which one I'd go with. I'm not sure. But either way, I mean, you could just have both of them run again, right? I mean, who gives a shit? Watch the full speech? Yeah, this is insane, man. And wow. And everyone in the room clap for him. You missed the end. Oh, I don't know if that's it or not. The Vance versus Rubio race begins. Honestly, I think that really they probably will run together or something like that. I'd be kind of surprised if they ran against each other. And I also got to say that it's really good that I think that Trump gives these guys so many opportunities to build themselves up. I think that's really great because obviously it's like right now, I think the Republican Conservative Party has a huge problem with having all of all of the energy is totally concerted around it's totally centered around Donald Trump. Everything is about, around, and, you know, in dealing with Donald Trump. And you need to, like, eventually he's going to retire, right? Eventually he's going to die. And so what happens after that? Well, you've got to have the new guys that come in and they carry it forward. So that's the really good thing, I think, that, you know, he gives JD Vance and Marco Rubio. They can just go on there, just talk about whatever the fuck they want, right? That's it. And so, yeah. And Young Bucks, yeah, you got to have that, right? I mean, you need to. And Trump Chief of Staff Rubio, yeah, 5 terms, baby. You think it's going to be 5 terms? Is that it? Let me see if I can find it. So then, bro, whenever I see right here him saying that same shit, like, I don't think they watch me or something like that. I find that to be very unlikely. But like, man, the 2% thing, the fucking managed decline, like everything else, like this is really, I'm feeling good about this, man. I'm feeling really good about this. Let me see if there's any more of this. What Barron does? I don't know. He's generally he's a bit young for that, right? I mean, like, so I don't know if that's really true. And,
we revoked her visa. It's an F1 visa, I believe. We revoked it, and here's why. And I'll say it again. I said it everywhere. Let me be abundantly clear, okay? If you go apply for a visa right now, anywhere in the world, let me just send this message out. If you apply for a visa to enter the United States and be a student, and you tell us that the reason why you're coming to the United States is not just because you want to write op-eds, but because you want to participate in movements that are involved in doing things like vandalizing universities, harassing students, taking over buildings, creating a ruckus, we're not going to give you a visa.
That's right.
If you lie to us and get a visa and then enter the United States and with that visa participate in that sort of activity,
get them out.
We're going to take away your visa.
That's right.
And once you've lost your visa,
should be lucky we're not putting you in jail.
You're no longer legally in the United States, and we have a right, like every country in the world has a right, to remove you from our country.
Get you out.
So it's just that simple.
Get that ass out.
I think it's crazy. I think it's stupid for any country in the world to welcome people into their country that are going to go to your universities as visitors. They're visitors. And say, I'm going to your universities to start a riot. I'm going to your universities to take over a library and harass people. I don't care what movement you're involved in. Why would any country in the world allow people to come and disrupt? Now, we gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses.
Holy shit. Vance and Rubio for, well, okay, so we're going to have Trump run for 4 more years, right? It's a 3rd term, potentially 4th term Trump. And then you have maybe Marco Rubio and then JD Vance, or JD Vance and Marco Rubio. Man. You imagine that?
And if we've given you a visa and then you decide to do that,
You know what comes after that? Nick.
we're going to take it away. I encourage every country to do that, by the way, because I think it's crazy to invite students into your country that are coming onto your campus and destabilizing it. We're just not going to have it. So we'll revoke your visa, and once your visa is revoked, you're illegally in the country and you have to leave. Every country in the world has a right to decide who comes in as a visitor and who doesn't. If you invite me into your home because you say, I want to come to your house for dinner, and I go to your house and I start putting mud on your couch and spray paint in your kitchen, I bet you're going to kick me out.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to do the same thing if you come into the United States as a visitor.
Turn it into a shithole, you're going back to the shithole you came from.
And create a ruckus for us. We don't want it. We don't want it in our country. Go back and do it in your country. But you're not going to do it in our country.
100%, man. And all use illegal aliens, their point of view, remember that? From a native's point of view? Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Is everybody says, like, oh, well, you know, everybody, you know, like, look at, like, well, you have to let everybody in. Look at the Native Americans. They let everybody in. Yeah, what happened to them? They're all dead. They're all dead. They're living on reservations. Their country got totally colonized. I mean, really, like, I don't want to end up like that. I mean, fuck, I think that's the best example to say, yeah, look at this. I don't want that to be me. Like, holy shit. Could do that with Ilhan Omar. They need to, if they run, just deport her. Do whatever you need to do. Oh, well, you can't do that. Do it anyway. Just do it anyway. Yeah. Oh, he even tweeted it out himself.
We increasingly outsourced our sovereignty to international institutions while many nations invested in massive... We increasingly outsourced our sovereignty to international institutions while many nations invested in massive welfare states at the cost of maintaining the ability to defend themselves. This, even as other countries have invested in the most rapid military buildup in all of human history and have not hesitated to use hard power to pursue their own interests. To appease a climate cult, we have imposed energy policies on ourselves that are impoverishing our people, even as our competitors exploit oil and coal and natural gas and anything else, not just to power...
Just say China. Just say China.
...power their economies, but to use as leverage against our own. And in a pursuit of a world without borders, we opened our doors to an unprecedented wave of mass migration that threatens the cohesion of our societies.
If they keep going at this pace, remigration is going to be on 2028's presidential election. If we keep this pace up, oh my God. This has all happened in 1 year. Get them out? Oh, what's remigration? Sending all the immigrants that waste our fucking money and don't do shit, sending them back to where they came from? That's what I want to do. It's not enough to me to cut the benefits. Gotta send them back.
The continuity of our culture.
Yep.
And the future of our people. We made these mistakes together. And now together we owe it to our people to face those facts and to move forward, to rebuild. Under President Trump, the United States of America will once again take on the task of renewal and restoration, driven by a vision.
You really got to admit, like, honestly, and this is one of the things that a lot of people don't really put enough respect on, is like Marco Rubio is in there fucking pitching for Trump every fucking speech. Like, he is always on message, you know, glazing the president. He's got the respect where it needs to be. Absolutely. Loyal. Yes, loyalty, man. Like, that's what matters more than anything else. Loyalty above everything. Unless you're Pam Bondi.
Future as proud, as sovereign, and as vital as our civilization's past. Yeah. And while we are prepared, if necessary, to do this alone, it is our preference, and it is our hope to do this together with you, our friends here in Europe. For the United States and Europe, we belong together. America was founded 250 years ago, but the roots began here on this continent long before. The men who settled and built the nation of my birth arrived on our shores carrying the memories and the traditions and the Christian faith of their ancestors as a sacred inheritance, an unbreakable link between the old world and the new.
Oh my God.
We are part of one civilization, Western civilization. We are bound to one another by the deepest bonds that nations could share, forged by centuries of shared history, Christian faith, culture, heritage, language, ancestry.
This is nutty.
And the sacrifices our forefathers made together for the common civilization to which we have fallen heir. And so this is why we Americans may sometimes come off as a little direct and urgent in our counsel. This is why President Trump demands seriousness and reciprocity from our friends here in Europe. The reason why, my friends, is because we care deeply. We care deeply about your future and ours. And if at times we disagree, our disagreements come from our profound sense of concern about a Europe with which we are connected, not just economically, not just militarily. We are connected spiritually, and we are connected culturally. We want Europe to be strong. We believe that Europe must survive. Because the two great wars of the last century serve for us as history's constant reminder.
He really is.
That ultimately, our destiny is and will always be intertwined with yours. Because we know
Man. Bro, like, they're clapping before he's even done. Oh my God, speech level max? Yes, exactly.
National security, which this conference is largely about, is not merely a series of technical questions. How much we spend on defense or where, how we deploy it, these are important questions. They are. But they are not the fundamental one.
Yes.
The fundamental question we must answer at the outset is, what exactly are we defending? Because armies do not fight for abstractions.
True.
Armies fight for a people. Armies fight for a nation. Armies fight for a way of life. And that is what we are defending. A great civilization that has every reason
This is one of the big problems I think Europe is going to have pretty soon, especially if the Ukraine war continues or if there are any other issues, is that I think that you're going to have a really, really hard time motivating a bunch of young men to go out there and fight wars and die for a country that's being overrun by illegals that want to remove and change the country completely. Sound to land of video, I think it should be fine. And so, yeah, this is generally what I think is happening overall. Being a space Marco? Yes, absolutely, man. 100%. And send the illegals to war? Well, I mean, I think they should probably do something. But people will not die for an economic zone. That's fundamentally what it is. People will die for a country. They'll die for an ideology. They'll die for a nation. They'll die for an identity. But they are not going to die for an economic area where, you know, they're basically getting replaced by foreigners and they can't complain about it or it's illegal. Die for a bunch of pedos in power? Yes, definitely. There's no magic soil. I mean, again, like, what is this here? That's not even what I was saying. You're still arguing something stupid. But anyway, people don't hear him. I know. Now they're being patriotic because they want you to die for Israel. Absolutely. 100%. No one wants to die for Israel's public image. Yeah, the entire speech is 15 minutes. Maybe I should just watch this. I'm ready.
That the fate of Europe will never be irrelevant to our own. National security, which this conference is largely about, is not merely a series of technical questions. How much we spend on defense or where, how we deploy it, these are important questions. They are. But they are not the fundamental one. The fundamental question we must answer at the outset is, what exactly are we defending? Because armies do not fight for abstractions.
So he started it out with this.
Armies fight for a nation.
Man.
Armies fight for a way of life. And that is what we are defending. A great civilization that has every reason to be proud of its history, confident of its future, and aims to always be the master of its own economic and political destiny. It was here, in Europe, where the ideas that planted the seeds of liberty that changed the world were born. It was
True.
here in Europe, which gave the world the rule of law, the universities, and the scientific revolution. It was this continent that produced the genius of Mozart and Beethoven, of Dante and Shakespeare, of Michelangelo and Da Vinci, of the Beatles and the Rolling Stones.
True.
And this is the place where the vaulted ceilings of the Sistine Chapel and the towering spires of the great cathedral in Cologne,
Man.
they testify not just to the greatness of our past or to a faith in God that inspired these marvels. They foreshadow the wonders that await us in our future. But only if we are unapologetic in our heritage and proud of this common inheritance can we together begin the work of envisioning and shaping our economic and our political future. Deindustrialization was not inevitable. It was a conscious policy choice, a decades-long economic undertaking that stripped our nations of their wealth, of their productive capacity, and of their independence. And the loss of our supply chain sovereignty was not a function of a prosperous and healthy system of global trade. It was foolish. It was a foolish but voluntary transformation of our economy that left us dependent on others for our needs and dangerously vulnerable to crisis. Mass migration isn't some fringe concern of little consequence. It was and continues to be a crisis which is transforming and destabilizing societies all across the West. Together, we can reindustrialize our economies and rebuild our capacity to defend our people. But the work of this new alliance should not be focused just on military cooperation and reclaiming the industries of the past.
Well, they have to be ideologically aligned, and Europe should be ideologically aligned with America. But the problem is that Europe is too focused on trying to protect criticism of migrant rape gangs than caring about freedom of speech or any sort of free discourse. That's the issue. That's the problem.
It should also be focused on together advancing our mutual interests in new frontiers, unshackling our ingenuity, our creativity, and the dynamic spirit to build a new Western century.
It's disgusting.
Commercial space travel and cutting-edge artificial intelligence, industrial automation and flex manufacturing, creating a Western supply chain for critical minerals not vulnerable to extortion from other powers,
like Russia,
and a unified effort to compete for market share in the economies of the global South. Together, we can not only take back control of our own industries and supply chains, we can prosper in the areas that will define the 21st century.
So didn't Germany get rid of all their nuclear power plants? Let me see if I can pull this up. Where is it here if I can find it? Yeah, I mean, you look at this, right? Electricity generation from nuclear energy in Germany. Like, they totally went back on it. Yeah, they did. And now they're out there trying to pay Russia.
But we must also gain control of our national borders.
Clean energy.
Controlling who and how many people enter our countries, this is not an expression of xenophobia.
Absolutely.
It is not hate.
Yes.
It is a fundamental act of national sovereignty. And the failure to do so is not just an abdication of one of our most basic duties owed to our people. It is an urgent threat to the fabric of our societies and the survival of our civilization itself.
He's completely right. I mean, you bring enough of those people over there from those shitholes and they're going to turn Europe into a shithole. That's what they already have done. You go to the areas where there's a lot of people, these refugees and migrants, the places are shitholes. Shouldn't be there. Get rid of them.
And finally, we can no longer place the so-called global order above the vital interests of our people and our nations. We do not need to abandon the system of international cooperation we authored, and we don't need to dismantle the global institutions of the old order that together we built. But these must be reformed. These must be rebuilt. For example, the United Nations still has tremendous potential to be a tool for good in the world. But we cannot ignore that today, on the most pressing matters before us, it has no answers and has played virtually no role.
The United Nations is useless.
It could not solve the war in Gaza.
Yep.
Instead, it was American leadership that freed captives from barbarians and brought about a fragile truce.
Well, that's because the UN, see, the reason why the UN doesn't work is because everything in the world is determined by the force doctrine. If you have more guns, more weapons, and the ability to effectively shut down your opponent, that opponent now has to listen to you. That's it. That's the bottom line. And so when Europe doesn't have that type of leverage and they're not willing to use that leverage, then they don't have any leverage. That's the only leverage that matters.
It has not solved the war in Ukraine.
Yeah, it's like, for example, like why is Maduro gone? Because we went in there and we killed the people that were holding them, and we blew all their stuff up, and we got Maduro. That's the reason why. It's really simple.
It took American leadership in partnership with many of the countries here today just to bring the two sides to the table.
UN can only work with that.
In search of a still elusive peace. It was powerless.
Yoink. That's
to
right.
constrain the nuclear program of radical Shia clerics in Tehran. That required 14 bombs dropped with precision from American B-2 bombers. And it was unable to address the threat to our security from a narco-terrorist dictator in Venezuela. Instead, it took American special forces to bring this fugitive to justice.
How about that?
In a perfect world,
how about that?
All of these problems and more would be solved by diplomats and strongly worded resolutions.
It doesn't work that way. That's not the way anything works.
But we do not live in a perfect world.
Nope.
And we cannot continue to allow those who blatantly and openly threaten our citizens and endanger our global stability to shield themselves behind abstractions of international law.
I think he might be better than Trump. I think that he could be a better president than Trump is. I feel like Rubio might actually be, he might be willing to do what needs to be done. Like, you know, I'll tell you this, like, I would rather have, like, in 2016, I was like a lot more, you know, kind of like, it's not really kind of like flat on mild with Rubio. But now, like, bro, like,
which they themselves routinely violate.
I'll probably vote for Rubio.
This is the path that President Trump and the United States has embarked upon. It is the path we ask you here in Europe to join us on. It is a path we have walked together before.
Yeah, Vance and Rubio, for sure.
And hope to walk together again.
This is crazy.
For 5 centuries, before the end of the Second World War, the West had been expanding. Its missionaries, its pilgrims, its soldiers, its explorers pouring out from its shores.
I gotta be honest, guys. I'm not religious. I grew up Roman Catholic. But man, the messaging and like making Christianity and all of that like center, like front and center, that's the way it should be. Because that's the way it is.
To cross oceans.
It's real.
Settle new continents. Build vast empires extending out across the globe. But in 1945...
As I said, you know, I drew the line in the sand. If Pope Leo finances a new crusade to help the Christians that are being killed in Nigeria, and he funds Blackwater to go save them, I'll go back to Mass. But only if there's a new crusade. Anything less, no.
For the first time since the age of Columbus,
God wills it.
It was contracting.
That's right.
Europe was in ruins. Half of it lived behind an iron curtain, and the rest looked like it would soon follow. The great Western empires had entered into terminal decline, accelerated by godless communist revolutions and by anti-colonial uprisings that would transform the world and drape the red hammer and sickle across vast swaths of the map in the years to come. Against that backdrop, then as now, many came to believe that the West's age of dominance had come to an end.
Man.
And that our future was destined to be a faint and feeble echo of our past.
This is insane. Rubio's one. I'm getting hard, bro. This is so good.
But together, our predecessors recognized that decline was a choice. And it was a choice they refused to make. This is what we did together once before. And this is what President Trump and the United States want to do again now, together with you. And this is why we do not want our allies to be weak. because that makes us weaker.
That's right.
We want allies who can defend themselves
Yep.
so that no adversary will ever be tempted to test our collective strength.
Yeah, look at y'all trying to fucking scrambling around with Greenland. Remember that? That was embarrassing, guys. Like, you gotta get your shit together.
This is why we do not want our allies to be shackled by guilt and shame. We want allies who are proud of their culture and of their heritage, who understand that we are heirs to the same great and noble civilization, and who together with us are willing and able to defend it. And this is why we do not want allies to rationalize the broken status quo rather than reckon with what is necessary to fix it. For we in America have no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline.
I honestly think that this is probably the best one. And whenever I say probably, I mean it's the best one. This is by far the best one. This is crazy.
We do not seek to separate, but to revitalize an old friendship and renew the greatest civilization in human history.
Yeah.
What we want is a reinvigorated alliance that recognizes that what has ailed our societies is not just a set of bad policies, but a malaise of hopelessness and complacency.
Jesus, man. It's so true, too. He's completely right.
An alliance is the alliance that we want is one that is not paralyzed into inaction by fear. Fear of climate change, fear of war, fear of technology. Instead, we want an alliance that boldly...
By the way, look at Europe and Germany nuclear power. How many power plants they have now that are nuclear power. And all of that, like them removing their nuclear power and everything. Like, obviously, that contributes to them needing to pay Russia for power. Zero, yeah, France has some. It's pathetic. Don't forget the windmills. Well, that's why they have birds.
Races into the future. And the only fear we have is the fear of the shame of not leaving our nations prouder, stronger, and wealthier for our children. An alliance ready to defend our people, to safeguard our interests, and to preserve the freedom of action that allows us to shape our own destiny. Not one that exists to operate a global welfare state and atone.
Exactly, bro. Like we're paying. Like every time you ever hear like Donald Trump cuts funding for like Al Qaeda sex transitions, and you're like, man, what the fuck were we doing over there? But you know what I mean? Like, really, what are we doing giving them a bunch of fucking money?
For the purported sins of past generations. An alliance that does not allow its power to be outsourced, constrained, or subordinated to systems beyond its control. One that does not depend on others for the critical necessities of its national life. And one that does not maintain the polite pretense that our way of life is just one among many, and that asks for permission before it acts.
That's right, you do whatever the fuck you want.
And above all, an alliance based on the recognition that we, the West, have inherited together. What we have inherited together is something that is unique and distinctive and irreplaceable. Because this, after all, is the very foundation of the transatlantic bond. Acting...
Jesus, man. I really like, this is amazing. I'm so happy. Somebody says, are you talking about getting our Social Security? No. The idea is that we don't give any money to Somalia so we can keep funding Social Security. That's the idea. Like, we stop funding, like third world shitholes. Like, there's some, fucking PvP server country in Africa we're sending money to. Cut it off. Fuck them. That's the goal. That's the idea.
Together in this way, we will not just help recover a sane foreign policy. It will restore to us a clear sense of ourselves. It will restore a place in the world. And in so doing, it will rebuke and deter the forces of civilizational erasure that today menace both America and Europe alike. So in a time of headlines heralding the end of the transatlantic era,
I'm loving
let
this.
it be known and clear to all that this is neither our goal nor our wish. Because for us Americans, our home may be in the Western Hemisphere, but we will always be a child of Europe.
True.
Our story.
Man, bro, they are clapping before the shit is even over. Oh my God. This is, I really hope, honestly, I hope that this is where things are going. It is. Standing ovation, by the way. Oh no, we're going to see that.
Began with an Italian explorer.
Wait, what? Who's this?
Our story began with an Italian explorer.
That's right. That's why it's Columbus Day. Indigenous Peoples Day. Do it on another day. It's Columbus Day. Christopher Columbus.
Whose adventure into the great unknown to discover a new world brought Christianity to the Americas.
That's right.
And became the legend that defined the imagination of our pioneer nation.
Absolutely.
Our first colonies were built by English settlers, to whom we owe not just the language we speak, but the whole of our political and legal
House
system.
Columbus, goddamn hero. You're right.
Our frontiers were shaped by Scots-Irish, that proud, hardy clan from the hills of Ulster that gave us Davy Crockett and Mark Twain and Teddy Roosevelt and Neil Armstrong. Our great Midwestern heartland was built by German farmers and craftsmen who transformed
Let's hear about some great Germans.
Empty plains into a global agricultural powerhouse. And by the way, dramatically upgraded the quality of American beer.
Absolutely. Fucking true. Yeah, and I understand is the West has to help Africa. I mean, I don't think we should help them at all, bro. Like, you just get in there, get the stuff, and get out. Like, that's the way it is. And if you don't do it, China gonna do it. Like, that's how it is. It's not like nobody gonna do it. If you don't do it, it just means that they're gonna do it if you don't do it. You should just get their shit and go.
Our expansion into the interior
common sense.
Followed the footsteps of French fur traders and explorers whose names, by the way, still adorn the street signs and town names all across the Mississippi Valley. Our horses, our ranches, our rodeos, the entire romance of the cowboy archetype that became synonymous with the American West. These were born in Spain.
Yeah.
And our largest and most
motherfucking conquistadors. Absolutely. And if you go back, you got to understand that some of these conquistadors, you think about how much of an asshole you have to be for your city and your country to say, listen, we're going to give you the equivalent of billions of dollars to sail to the other side of the fucking world. And you're going to go there and you're going to cause whatever trouble you need over there, and that's it. And you think about it, they're still there, exactly. And then they get there, bro. They burn the ships. They take over entire fucking civilizations with like 50 guys, like 100 guys. These guys were legends, like Hernan Cortez, Pizarro. Holy fuck. Like, you could say, yeah, they're evil, brutal people. Of course they were. You had to be. And they came out ahead. It was 500? Yeah, against 20,000. They were insane.
Iconic city was named New Amsterdam before it was named New York.
That's true.
And you know that in the year that my country was founded, Lorenzo and Catalina Giraldi lived in Casal Monferrato in the Kingdom of Piedmont, Sardinia.
Oh.
And Jose and Manuela Reina lived in Sevilla, Spain.
Yep.
I don't know what, if anything, they knew about the 13 colonies which had gained their independence from the British Empire. But here's what I'm certain of. They could have never imagined that 250 years later, one of their direct descendants would be back here today on this continent.
That's right.
As the chief diplomat of that infant nation.
Fucking based. Absolutely fucking based. And people got to put more respect on the conquistadors. They do. Those guys were absolute G's. Like, really, like, you know, Cortez burned the boats. Because all the guys there were like, you know, oh, well, you know, we'll just go back. We'll leave. He set that shit on fire. He said, nobody leaving. That's it. It's done. Like, you're going in there. It's a beautiful story. Absolutely. Like Arthas? Yeah, like Arthas. That's probably where they got it from.
And yet here I am, reminded by my own story that both our histories and our fates will always be linked.
That's right.
Together, we rebuilt a shattered continent in the wake of 2 devastating world wars. When we found ourselves divided once again by the Iron Curtain, the Free West linked arms with the courageous dissidents struggling against tyranny in the East to defeat Soviet communism. We have fought against each other, then reconciled, then fought, then reconciled again. And we have bled and died side by side on battlefields from Kapyong to Kandahar. And I'm here today to leave it clear that America is charting the path for a new century of prosperity. And that once again, we want to do it together with you, our cherished allies and our oldest friends.
Man, I'm loving this. I'm gonna be honest, I'm
we want to
loving
do
this.
it together with you, with a Europe that is proud of its heritage and of its history, with a Europe that has the spirit of creation and liberty that sent ships out into uncharted seas and birthed our civilization, with a Europe that has the means to defend itself and the will to survive. We should be proud of what we achieved together in the last century.
Goddamn right. Hell yeah.
But now we must confront and embrace the opportunities of a new one. Because yesterday is over.
Thank fucking God. Yeah, exactly. People constantly living in the context of some other bullshit. Yeah, I'm so glad that people are tired of this.
The future is inevitable.
Make Europe great again?
And our destiny together awaits. Thank you.
Man. Wow. Oh my God. Holy shit. Holy shit, bro. Like, that was insane. Like, I honestly, like, yeah, you didn't even need water. Yeah, you're right. I really feel proud of this speech. It's amazing. Exactly. Like, this is, we've been waiting on this for a while, huh? And now it's finally happening. This is insane. You watched the interview afterwards? Well, I haven't seen an interview. I have no idea. But, like, this is just amazing. Like, I want to see a lot more of this. This is what we need to be hearing all the time.